Hi everyone, I'm Dawn and this is Ryan. We're here with Roll for Initiative and our new series where we're going to be teaching you how to play board games.
Each time we're going to give you everything that you need to know how to set up and play a brand new game. For our very first episode, we're going to start with Mountains of Madness from Yellow.
You'll probably recognize that we're at Bearded Bird Brewing in downtown Norfolk. We're happy that they'll be sponsoring us for the series, and tonight we're playing with Brittany and Joe. Hi!
They are a couple of the owners here at Bearded Bird, and really cool folks, and we're really happy that they're playing with us. So let's get started with Learn to Play Mountains of Madness.
Brought to you by...
Something we always appreciate from a game company is when the box is well designed for all of the components. Yellow does a good job with this. The board is hefty and sturdy, and to start with setup, we place all the tiles on their spots. There will be some tiles left over. This helps give some variety between games. Separate the injury, relic, and arcane equipment cards. Don't worry about shuffling them yet. Place as many injury cards as there are players in the discard equipment pile, and then shuffle the regular equipment deck. Each player gets as many cards as there are players. Last, shuffle the Madness cards into their different levels and place them on the board. For a 3-player game, deal 0 cards out. For a 4-person game, 1 card goes to everyone but the leader, and for a 5-player game, everyone gets a Madness card. Now we are ready to get started.
We start off with choosing where to move first. The movement phase is always the players choosing where to go and discussing why, but ultimately the leader gets to decide. Once we've all agreed, we move there, we flip the tile. Before we flip the timer, the leader can decide if they want to use a leadership token. If you do, you discard it from the sled to the board, and then you choose one player and ignore their Madness cards. As soon as the tile and the timer are flipped, the encounter phase starts. Right away, we look at the challenge symbols and the target numbers. You can see that we need books that total 7 or 8, or we'll see that we have a crate that can total between 7 or 9, or there are weapons that must be exactly 14. It gives you what your target numbers are. Some of them will be a range, and you can land anywhere in there. Some of them are very specific, and you have to hit that number. As soon as the timer runs out, which is 30 seconds, we stop playing and we have to play our cards. If somebody plays a card before the timer is finished, and you play it by putting it on the sled, all players must stop talking. You can use the rest of the time to figure out what it is, but you can't communicate. If anybody starts talking during this time, the leader has to take a leadership token off the sled and put it on to the board.
After the timer is finished, the leader turns over the cards and sees if we have succeeded or failed against the challenge. But there's one more thing to keep in mind with the encounter. Madness. Each of us has a Madness card. Ryan has Out of the Box, Brittany has Curious, and I have Team Player. The Madness cards take precedent over all other rules. Players never remember or bring up the fact that they were acting differently due to Madness.
We need 7 to 8 of the books and 7 to 9 of the
Alright, I have 5 books.
I have no books.
I have 3
Do we
and 4 books.
I don't have any books. I have weapons and tools.
I have 8 books.
We've got books. So we've got the books.
I have no boxes. That was terrifying.
For me, Madness is what makes this game so much fun. There's different ways of getting new Madness cards. And the expert mode, you add the new level of Madness. You never get rid of any of your cards. It's a lot of fun. Once the timer's up, the leader has a couple of seconds to decide if they want to use a leadership token. If you do, you move it from the sled to the board, and then you turn the timer over again. You get an additional 30 seconds to talk and try to meet the challenge. All right, so let's see how we did.
The resolution phase is where we figure out if we have succeeded or failed the challenge. As we count up the card totals, if we hit the number needed, it is a success. You only need one success to gain the reward listed on the tile. If we win, we are rewarded with a heal. which lets us get rid of an injury card from the equipment deck. Search lets us look at a challenge tile for 30 seconds. Praise puts 2 leadership tokens from the board back to the sled. And Arcane Equipment lets us put a high point card into the discard equipment. It can come back into our hand later. If we fail, we either roll the penalty die or draw a madness card. The leader chooses someone to draw and replace their madness card with the next higher level. If we roll the die, we can have an accident, which adds 2 injuries to the deck. Loss of Confidence discards 2 leadership tokens from the sled. Confusion discards from the equipment the difference between the target number and the total.
As always, the leader could choose to discard a leadership token on the board and re-roll the penalty die. After this, we draw back up to our hand total. The leader can choose to rest if they want to. If you do, you must remove one of the leadership tokens from the game. Now, the leadership token can come from the sled, it can come from the board, and if you only have 1 token left, you cannot rest, because if you lose all of your leadership tokens, the game is over. The party died on the mountain. Rest tokens come back to the sled, except for the one that you removed from the game, and then you shuffle the discard pile and the equipment deck and put it back in the equipment area. The sled moves to the next player, they assume the role of the leader, and the game continues that way. We figure out if we win, how well do we do, what are the results, or if we die on the mountain. Or, like you'll see with us, if you die trying to escape and come back home.
Your choice. Do you want to roll the die? Do you want to do madness?
I like personally making the madnesses better.
Alright.
And I think Pricky's just way too basic. Actually, I don't know what
But I
you guys
also
do.
really like having my beard pet, so
Fair enough.
Balancing between
Yeah.
bases.
Dawn, you get madness.
Alright.
we need 8 to 10 tools and 7 to 9 crates.
I have all of your tools.
I have 6 tools.
I have all of the tools.
I have 6 crates. I need 1 to 3 more.
I have 4 crates and all of the tools.
Okay, well then you're gonna play the tools. No one else play tools, but I need someone to help with crates. I have 6 crates. I'm gonna play my crates. Do you have crates?
Do you want me to play my crates so it's only 1 difference? No, because yours is only 1 difference.
One difference.
So yeah, let's play them. Can we talk about things or no?
We can't talk about what's in our hand.
Alright, good.
Okay, traffic leader.
Alright, so do we want to stay on the coast? I feel like we should move up.
Moving on up.
Alright. I say that we move to this one so that if it
We
goes
can move
horribly
sideways.
wrong,
Yeah.
come back down.
I like that.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah, yeah.
Solid.
Okay.
Ready? And
Oh, this is awful. We got 1 arcane thing.
we haven't had any injuries.
We've gotten rid of a lot of injuries. I think
Yeah.
we've gotten rid of 3.
2.
So the worst case is right now, we lose our job. We're not dead.
Okay, so we get a ruin 3.
Yeah, we got 1 on the board. We have no. We are at 0.
That goes
Like
to.
We are now at
0 is a
0.
good number.
When I draw this crawler, draw a madness card. If you are at level 3, discard the leadership token instead.
Shit.
I am at level 3. We have to discard a leadership token.
Let's just discard
It's
it.
just to the board.
And I also can no longer play weapons.
Oh.
I'm going to discard a leadership token. So everybody gets 5 cards.
I like it. We're all gonna die, so Edge of Madness.
Oh, wait, flip it over.
Alright.
Everything.
1 knowledge card per success.
Oh my god.
Alright, you have 6 crates and 2 books. I have 6 crates and 3 books.
I have 3 things and 2 things.
Yes.
I have a third of the guns.
I have 3 books.
I can help with 2 of the things.
I I have 8 guns.
Can you help with
You have
shooting
6 books.
things? Create things.
Done.
Just shooting things. I don't know why I didn't just say guns, because I can say it.
Okay, so what do we need? 16?
You can say yes or no.
16 to 20 crates. 16 to 20 crates. Well, we have 8. 11 to 15 guns. We have... Oh, we have it. We succeeded on guns. And we have books.
I just said fuck it.
And 6 to... Oh, and we made tools. So
Get 2 relics.
2 knowledges.
The last few tiles of the game are the escape tiles. They're done just like all of the rest of the tiles, trying to meet the win conditions, but they're just a lot more difficult. One thing that you'll notice that I love about this game is that the colors of the challenge requirements change as you move up the mountain. It's sort of one of these things that's done to try to mess with the players and help make it feel like you're really going mad, you're going insane. It's something that we thought was really frustrating the first time that we were playing it, but we also understand why they do it and think it's really cool.
Yeah, so I don't have any cards.
Well, this is where we lose the game.
oh yeah, I am also now.
Yeah, this is definitely where we.
I have.
We should go there.
Let's see how bad we lose.
I have cards.
So we fly off the top of the mountain.
Yeah, and then we crash to our fiery deaths.
Ready?
Mrs. Stanforth looks sadly out the window, knowing the fate that's becoming her.
So let's
I should have said I loved him when I had the chance.
resolve this.
All right.
How many things do we have?
We have 2. We have 9 books, and that's it. We don't need books. We don't read while we die.
So we take off, we're going, and then we run out of gas.
We did not plan well.
So if you do manage to escape, unlike we did, you'll see exactly how well you did. To find out, take the total number of relics gained and subtract the injury cards. So, for example, if we had managed to gain 5 relics from succeeding at challenges, but we have 6 injuries in the deck, we have a total of -1 points. According to the chart in the back of the book, that means we would have returned embarrassed by the failure of the expedition. We are forced to resign our post at the university.
There you have it, folks. Mountains of Madness by Yellow.
I really enjoy this game. I think the madness mechanic works really well. It's fun. It can be a bit goofy. It can be a bit frustrating at times. And it's also a nice little bit of a spin on cooperative game.
The fact that the colors of the different symbols on the tiles change as you go, like we thought we were going crazy, like we were yelling at each other for playing the wrong thing. It's a really fun part of the mechanic that adds to that idea that your expedition is losing their mind.
I really like that it's not a Cthulhu game, even though it's based on the book. So that makes it a lot more accessible to people who might look at a Cthulhu game and go, oh, I'm not into Cthulhu. But they look at this and go, oh, hey, it's a cooperative game where you're exploring a mountain. I'll give that a try.
And when you read the flavor text on all of the cards, it's clearly Lovecraftian, it's clearly Cthulhu, and so I think it's smart because it opens up the game to more players, and how is that not a good thing? I want to give a huge thank you to Bearded Bird for sponsoring Learn to Play, as well as giving a shout out to Lainey, Will, Sean, and Arby. They're just a few of our very special patrons that we have over at Patreon. If you want to join us there, hop on over and see if you want to get a thanks or a mini or maybe even Skype in, or come on over and you can be a part of one of our ongoing D&D sessions. If you can support us in that way, that would be super awesome. Thank you to everybody who watches and support and clicks like and hits share. If you really like what we do, something that would be great is find your favorite video and then just share it. Help us get the word out about what it is that we do. We would really appreciate that kind of love. So for Roll for Initiative, I'm Ryan,
I'm Dawn.
and we'll see you on the next Learn to Play.